Welcome back, everyone. And if you'll excuse me if I sound congested again, this flu is like anything I've ever witnessed. It just drags on and on and on. I also want to wish everyone here the best for this coming year. I wish you strength, I wish you courage, and I wish you love, deep love for self. And in knowing this year that you are enough, more than enough. And I also wish you health, especially those of you who have been fighting this flu. Like I just said, it is a doozy. Now, for those who don't know me, my name is Deanna King, and this channel is I'll talk narcissism and codependency. And due to the flu, I think I'm going to probably make this video a little bit shorter than I normally do, but here we go. Today, I want to address the subject regarding narcissists and goalposts, because they sure know how to move them around and wave them in your face every time that they decide to move them again. And do you know when they do this? It's simple. It's every time you reach the post. One of the most confusing things about being involved with a narcissist is this feeling that no matter what you do, it's never enough. And that's because narcissists, they keep moving that goalpost. Moving the goalpost means the rules keep changing, but only after you've already met them. Just when you think that you've finally done what they asked, the standard shifts again. And this isn't accidental here, it's a control tactic. Here's how it usually starts. At first, the narcissist sets a clear expectation. Just be more patient with me. If you'd communicate better, we wouldn't fight. All I want is honesty. And so you try to make this relationship work, right? You regulate your tone, you choose your words carefully, you become more open, more flexible, more accommodating. And for a brief moment, it seems to work, but then the goalpost moves. Now it's not like that. You're being too sensitive. You're honest, but your timing is wrong. You're patient, but you're still cold. The original issue is never resolved because it was never the real issue. Here's another example. They say, I just need space. So you give them space. You stop reaching out. You respect their boundaries. And then suddenly you're accused of being distant, uncaring, or abandoning them. The requirement changed without warning, and you're blamed for not keeping up. Or this one. They say, I want a calm conversation, as though that's going to happen with a narcissist, right? But anyway, you stay calm. You don't raise your voice. You choose peace. Then they tell you that you're pouting. You're being passive aggressive. You don't even care about the relationship. They're pushing your buttons here, right? And now you're supposed to be left feeling guilty. Again, the goalpost moved. Here's one I personally experienced. Well, one of many. But anyway, this narcissist, he made my life a living nightmare, just like you guys are or had been experiencing. Mine is had, thank God. Anyway, if you want to get to me, it isn't being late. It isn't being too needy, although I don't exactly love those things. But if you really want to get to me, it's clutter. I do not do well with clutter. It's as though the clutter in front of me becomes the clutter in my head. So eventually, after trying all kinds of ways to get him to understand this, we ended up getting into this huge fight. One of those, circular conversations you might be familiar with. I just recently did a video on that, by the way, for anyone wanting to see it. So I'll leave a link in the description down below. I hope I remember. Anyway, yes, I will remember. So anyway, in this fight, for some reason, I believed that we had succeeded in a solution. I told him that it wasn't okay for him to walk through the door, kick his shoes off in the middle of the floor, and leave his tools all over the entrance and staircase, because that's what he did, and on my white staircase at that. His response was that he had so much on his mind that it didn't dawn on him. And so could I simply remind him when he'd come home? Fair enough, right? Well, lo and behold, Monday comes rolling around, and at day's end, sure enough, in he walks, throws his shoes in the middle of the floor, along with tools sprawled all over the place. So I remind him. I mean, what was I even thinking? He blows up at me, huge tantrum, And when I fought back and reminded him that this was his own idea that he had come up with, and I did as we had agreed to, now it was my fault because I was supposed to wait another few seconds before reminding him. Goalpost has moved. And the worst part, I kind of thought it made sense somehow. And this is what this does over time. It is deeply destabilizing. You start questioning your own self. You overanalyze every word. You keep thinking, if I can just figure out the right version of myself, this will finally stop. There is no finish line. The goalposts move because the narcissist needs to stay in a position of superiority. If you ever truly met the standard, they'd lose the upper hand. So the standard must remain unreachable. And this keeps you chasing approval that never comes while they stay in control of the narrative. Healthy relationships, they don't work like this. In a healthy dynamic, expectations can be discussed, clarified, and resolved. The rules don't change mid-game just to keep someone losing. And that's what this is, to keep you losing. There's no post to begin with. They want you to stay home and watch the kids, and you do. But now that isn't good enough. They want you to get a job, so you do. But now the job doesn't pay enough. And what were you thinking? You should go back to school and get a degree, but you do. And again, what were you thinking? Because there's no jobs in this choice that you made. You try to resolve one issue that you're having, and now another issue is brought up, and suddenly the issue that you wanted to address turned into the issue that they're bringing up. For example, your issue is that you don't want conversations to turn into these huge fights, but now their issue is that you're passive aggressive and you don't talk about the things that are bothering you. And that's why that you guys get into these huge fights. And in these fights or so-called conversations, you went from, say, being expected to listen when the narcissist has something to say, let them have a voice, because that's what they demand, right? That's their goalpost. And so you do. You change your behavior so that fights don't have to be these long, dragged-out fights. And in this, you let them bleed their anger all over you and hurl insults at you, and you take it just so that this can be over. But is it? No, it isn't enough. Now you have to do something else. You have to do more. It's never enough. You're never enough. It isn't you that isn't enough. These are unrealistic and unreasonable demands from an immature, spoiled child that simply cannot take responsibility. They are lowlifes. It's all projection. If they're calling you passive-aggressive, it is they who are passive-aggressive most of the time. Pay attention. If they complain that you don't do enough around the house, for example, what are they doing around the house? They have such an incredible amount of self-hatred that they have to take that energy out on others. That's why they create all this chaos around them. They feel empty inside. Something needs to shift, to move. Anything. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. They just can't deal with that awful nothingness that they feel inside, or the monster that they might feel inside. It has to go away, so they got to concentrate on something else. And some of you are probably thinking that with your big, kind, caring hearts that you're just going to love them out of this, but you can't. They will take you down with them. First of all, they have no empathy, so giving them love will only empower them even more to disempower you. See, I'm the king, or I'm the queen. I can make them do whatever I want. That's what and who they are. You can't change them. It's you that has to change. You have to see the truth and then accept it as truth and accept that they won't change. Look at the story about the frog and the scorpion. The scorpion asks the frog to carry him across the water, but the frog is a bit reluctant and he says so. He tells the scorpion that if he does that, he's going to get stung. But the scorpion responds that logically, if he does sting him, he'll drown, which made perfect sense to the frog, right? So he carries him across the pond or the waters, and at around halfway, he stings the frog. And the frog, paralyzing, manages to ask the questions why he did it. And the scorpion responds, "It's my nature." And so it is with the narcissist. So I leave you with all of this to ponder on. So this year, place your own goalpost and don't move it. Recognize the patterns, aka the games. Set boundaries, not for them, your boundaries for you, your goal, your goalpost. So take care, and we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.